They thought they had found an easy target. It was April 2026. High above a tense stretch of coastline, an American fighter jet cut through the night sky on what appeared to be a routine patrol. The weather was clear. Visibility stretched for miles. Nothing seemed unusual. Then everything changed. A warning tone pierced the cockpit. One alert. Then another. Radar energy flooded the aircraft's sensors. Someone was tracking him. The pilot glanced at the threat display. A contact had appeared where none should have been. Seconds later, the situation escalated. Missile launch detected. The comm patrol instantly became a fight for survival. The fighter rolled hard and descended. Countermeasures erupted behind the aircraft as the pilot maneuvered aggressively. Every movement was practiced. Every reaction came from years of training. A bright streak raced upward from the ground. Fast. Silent. Deadly. The missile climbed rapidly toward the aircraft. Inside the cockpit, there was no panic. Only procedure. The pilot pushed the jet into a violent turn. The airframe groaned under immense stress. Warning tones echoed through his headset. For several long seconds, the missile continued tracking. Then a burst of countermeasures filled the sky. The missile drifted. Corrected. Drifted again. Finally. A flash. The warhead detonated harmlessly behind the aircraft. The fighter survived. But the story was only beginning. Because someone on the ground had just revealed their position. And in modern warfare, that can be a catastrophic mistake. For weeks, tensions throughout the region had been building. Commercial shipping routes had been disrupted. Military aircraft were flying increased patrols. Surveillance assets filled the skies. Every major player in the region was watching. Intelligence analysts had tracked unusual activity near several coastal positions. Mobile radar systems. Communications traffic. Vehicle movements occurring mostly at night. Nothing definitive. Not yet. The patrol aircraft that evening was not there by accident. It was part of a much larger intelligence network. Satellites. Drones. Airborne radar platforms. Electronic surveillance teams. All working together. The fighter was one piece of a massive puzzle. And the missile launch had just supplied a critical missing piece. The aircraft continued westward while support assets monitored the situation. Far overhead, long-endurance surveillance drones collected data. Electronic warfare specialists analyzed emissions. Command centers hundreds of miles away received updates in real time. Every sensor was now focused on one question. Who fired? And where? The answer arrived sooner than expected. The pilot's warning systems lit up again. New signals. Different direction. Multiple contacts. The threat display became crowded. Whoever had launched the first missile wasn't finished. Several radar sources activated nearly simultaneously. The pilot immediately recognized the danger. This was coordinated. A second engagement was unfolding. Again, the aircraft maneuvered. Again, countermeasures filled the sky. The fighter accelerated and descended. The pilot's training took over completely. Threats appeared. Threats disappeared. New warnings emerged. For a few intense moments, the aircraft danced through a web of tracking systems. Electronic warfare aircraft supporting the mission began transmitting powerful jamming signals. Radar pictures became distorted. Tracking quality degraded. Confusion spread across the electronic battlespace. The fighter used every available second to escape the engagement zone. One missile came dangerously close. Another lost lock. A third never found its target. Within minutes, the aircraft had survived. The attackers had failed. But they had exposed themselves. At nearly 60,000 feet, a surveillance platform continued orbiting far above the conflict area. It wasn't armed. It didn't need to be. Its mission was observation. And it had seen everything. Heat signatures. Electronic emissions. Vehicle movements. Communication bursts. Every piece of information was recorded and transmitted. Analysts began assembling a complete picture. Individual launch points became identifiable. Support vehicles were located. Possible command sites emerged. Patterns started appearing. The missile crews likely believed they had only engaged a single aircraft. In reality, they had been observed by an entire network. The engagement lasted minutes. The consequences would last much longer. The fighter eventually stabilized in a safer area. Additional aircraft arrived. Support fighters expanded coverage. Airborne command platforms coordinated traffic. The mission shifted from defense to assessment. Target information flowed through multiple command centers. Analysts verified locations. Cross-checks were completed. Potential threats were prioritized. The process was methodical, deliberate, professional. By the time the pilot finished reporting the encounter, planners already possessed a detailed map of the situation. The attackers had unknowingly created their own targeting package. Every radar activation, every launch, every transmission, all of it left a trail. Hours later, a coordinated operation began taking shape. Surveillance aircraft maintained watch. Electronic warfare platforms prepared support plans. Strike aircraft received mission briefings. Crews reviewed imagery. Pilots studied routes. Weapons specialists completed final checks. Nothing happened quickly. But everything happened efficiently. This was the advantage of preparation. The response wasn't improvised. It was organized. Layered. Designed to reduce risk while maximizing effectiveness. As darkness deepened, aircraft launched in sequence. Support assets first. Then electronic warfare aircraft. Then the strike fighters. Every platform had a specific role. Every crew understood the objective. The operation moved forward like a machine. As the package approached the target area, electronic warfare systems activated. The electromagnetic spectrum suddenly became crowded. Signals competed. Radars struggled. Communications became unreliable. Meanwhile, surveillance platforms updated target locations continuously. Nothing remained hidden for long. Strike aircraft reached their release points. Weapons separated. Guidance systems activated. Targets were engaged. One after another. Some locations disappeared in flashes of light. Others were neutralized with precise impacts. Secondary explosions suggested additional equipment had been present. The operation continued exactly as planned. Support aircraft monitored for unexpected developments. None appeared. The defenders never managed to regain the initiative. The strike package remained in control from beginning to end. Back in the original fighter cockpit, the pilot listened as updates arrived over secure communications. Professional. Concise. Objective. Targets assessed. Mission complete. Return to base. There were no celebrations. No dramatic speeches. Just confirmation that the mission had ended successfully. The sky that had seemed so dangerous only hours earlier was quiet once again. But the quiet carried a message. Actions have consequences. Especially when every sensor in the battle space is watching. Modern warfare moves faster than ever. Information travels instantly. A single radar pulse can reveal a location. A missile launch can expose an entire network. A few seconds of activity can generate hours of intelligence. The battlefield is no longer defined only by weapons. It's defined by information. The side that understands more usually reacts faster. And the side that reacts faster often controls the outcome. That reality shaped everything that happened that night. Not luck. Not chance. Information. Detection. Coordination. Execution. The aircraft survived because of training. The network succeeded because of preparation. And the attackers learned a lesson about operating against a force connected by sensors, communications, and real-time intelligence. The encounter lasted only minutes. The effects lasted far longer. What began as an attempted interception became a demonstration of how modern military systems operate when connected together. Aircraft, ships, drones, satellites, analysts, pilots, all working as parts of the same machine. And when that machine begins moving, events unfold quickly. But here's a question for you. If you were the commander responsible for the operation, would you have focused only on the immediate threat, or would you have expanded the mission to target every identified system in the area? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this military dramatization, be sure to like the video and subscribe for more stories exploring modern technology, tactics, and strategy. And remember, in today's battle space, the most powerful weapon isn't always the missile. Sometimes it's the information that missile leaves behind.